Another masterclass from Sam Curran. Adil Rashid also outstanding, keeping Pakistan to what looks like a well below par total of 137 for 8. In a final, you can never tell, but certainly England have achieved their first objective. No half centuries for Pakistan. Shan Masood looked good while he was there, as did Babar Azam. But I reckon from the point Babar Azam went, it was a procession of wickets for the 2009 champions. Here on Cricbuzz Live, to see whether 137 is going to be anywhere close to enough, let's get the thoughts of Zaheer Khan and Parthiv Patel. On paper, this should be done and dusted, but it's still a World Cup final.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if 137 is definitely not par, it is below par score, but yeah, they've got still runs on the board. England still have to go out there and get those runs. So that's something which Pakistani dressing room would be talking about. Let's try and give everything. Let's try and make sure that we fielded our heart out, and let's not leave anything out there on the ground, and make it as difficult as possible. For Pakistan's point of view, I think they'll have to take a couple of early wickets, put them under pressure. Just those doubts in dugout. I think that is very, very important. So I think Pakistan will have to come out attacking in this inning.
I mean, they did some things right in Pakistan. They ran their twos well. They set a platform at the 10-over mark. But then just the brilliance of Adil Rashid after he came back, picked up that second wicket, and then Sam Curran.
Yes, they did, but also felt that they were targeting that 175 kind of a total. That's what happens when you're targeting a higher total. You sometimes land up 20 runs short, and that's something which did happen. Maybe they should have approached the innings with 160 in mind, and that's something which we did mention that if you're playing against England, looking at their batting lineup, that added pressure is always there. But England was superb. England was superb in this game so far. You look at the field placement, you look at Sam Curran stepping up, you look at Adil Rashid slowing things down, knowing that Pakistan batters are good against spin, but he still was brave enough to bowl at those 80 kilometers per hour. Looking to turn the ball, getting a good purchase off the pitch. So that is something which was very, very outstanding from both these bowlers. On the whole, in the back end also, if you see, they were not looking to go too full. They were looking to bowl that back of the line deliveries, the big ground, the planning, the preparation we often talk about. The field placement was precise. It's about how you set your field as well. Today, if you see, most of the catches were held, say, about 15-20 meters inside the boundary line, and the fielders were there. So that shows that England were very nicely prepared. They did their homework well, and when it came to execution, so far in the match, they've been outstanding.
Yeah, precision, meticulous was one of the words used over and over on commentary, and I think Butler sort of managed his resources perfectly.
Yeah, he did that brilliantly. I think when Livingston came in, I thought at the 10-over mark, Pakistan was at a decent position. They were almost 69 for 2. Yeah. They were trying to get a move on, and they did. So when Livingston came in, and they smashed him for 16 overs, about 16 runs in an over, and then Adil Rashid came in and then took that Babar Azam's wicket and bowled that fantastic over, and then it was not looking back. But I thought he managed those bowlers really well. Stokes always comes in and bowls that 11 over after a break, and today also he bowled that 7th over after the 6th over. So he knew that he had to get a couple of overs out if Pakistan comes out attacking against Livingston, and then he did that brilliantly. So Vokes bowled only 3 overs. It was not his day, but he made sure that Stokes bowls on the crucial times where you can get away with it, and that's exactly what he did. So I think Butler was on top of his game as a captain, and as Zach said, their planning was brilliant. The execution was there. You wanted them to hit square of the wicket. Shorter boundaries were straight, and then they didn't try to bowl those Yorkers. Sometimes you get carried away. At slog overs, we have to bowl those Yorkers, but they didn't. They stayed within themselves, and they executed it brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a combination of pace and spin. But sticking to spin, we saw what Adil Rashid did against India, even before that in the game against Sri Lanka. So even though he's not been among the wickets, as we mentioned in our build-up show, it's been the impact he's caused, and today it was the impact plus those key wickets.
Well, you look at semi-finals, you look at finals, he was brilliant. Today, even in the middle overs, how he controlled the game for England was superb. Taking those 2 wickets, important wicket of Babar Azam as well. At that stage, he was the only guy who could have anchored one side. Shan Masood was looking good at the other end. So that partnership could have been threatening. But what England did superbly was that first 6 overs were very nicely placed, and then the last 5 overs. So middle overs. Even if Pakistan was trying to get a move on, in the process they've lost wickets, and that gave them that added advantage as well to really then go on to get more wickets in the last 5, which we've seen England do consistently in this tournament. Only against India that wasn't the case in the semis, but other than that, they've been picking those wickets in the back 5 of the innings, and they've been planning well according to which ground they're playing on. So playing in Melbourne, the finals actually was right in their game plan, because they could afford to bowl back of the length and those hard deliveries, which Pakistan batters were going to find it difficult, especially the lower order one. For that reason, they wanted someone from the top order to carry on the innings, maybe, even if little bit slower on the strike rate, but one of them who is good against short pitch bowling needed to stay there right till the end. That could have been the difference of that 20-25 runs which we are talking about. But England bowlers didn't really give them that opportunity.
Yeah, 84 for 2, just to put it in context, at the end of the 11th over, after that big over from Liam Livingstone. Perfect platform set, Babar Azam in, and then from 84 for 2, going to, what, 53 for 6 in the back 9.
And that was brilliant, as I thought that wicket that changed everything around. When you get a set batsman out, it is very difficult for you to, someone else to come in and set the tempo going. And that is exactly what they did. Surprisingly, I thought, the Babar Azam misread that googly. He was setting himself up to play that cut shot of leg spin, but and then suddenly thought, oh, it's a googly, so he had to change that shot. So, but Rashid Khan was very brilliant with his the way Adil Rashid, was brilliant with his leg spins and execution. If you look at that over which he bowled to Iftikhar, he bowled 3 leg spins and suddenly 1 flipper and googly. That's where he was. That means he was thinking wicket. He was trying to set him up. So it was brilliant. As we've been talking about the execution, and we will talk about this in so many games after this, that you have to control your game, you have to adapt according to which ground you are playing, and England was on top of the game today.
Yeah, and when you talk about adapting, it's Adil Rashid did it. That's a Freudian slip. I mean, you think of great leg spinners, Rashid Khan's name comes to mind. So now he'll not be the only great Rashid leg spinner in the world. He's certainly stamped his authority. But Zaheer, it was also Sam Curran. We briefly mentioned it. His go-to often would be the Yorker, particularly if he's, say, playing at the Adelaide Oval. He'd bring his Yorker in the last couple of overs. This was a different ground. Fielders in, used the short stuff, knew he could get those guys.
And the situation as well. He's bowled 4 overs for 12 runs today and picked up 3 wickets. That's
9 in the death overall in the tournament.
Yeah, massive performance in the finals. There is no doubt about it. He's had a terrific tournament. He's been that main go-to man for England. Bowling in the death has not been his strength. He's someone who you associate with swing, getting that new ball in hand. That kind of a role we've seen Sam Curran play. But for this World Cup, no Jofra Archer, so they had to have that pivot in planning and identifying who is going to play that role. So Sam Curran has really stepped up and taken that responsibility, taken that mantle to really secure those crucial overs for England, and he's been doing it brilliantly right throughout the tournament.
Yeah, no Jofra, no Mark Wood in the semi-final and final with that pace, and Curran now has the second highest number of wickets by a quicker bowler in the history of this tournament. Only Dirk Nannes in the West Indies in 2010 has got more.
Okay. I mean, as Zach said, to me, I think he's the bowler of the tournament. Because not just the numbers we are talking about, in the situations where he has bowled, he's been asked to bowl in difficult conditions, new ball, power play, slog overs. Sometimes when they needed wicket, they used him in middle overs as well, which is something he has not done in his career. Slog overs to step up like that. I think you got to give credit to him, and the way he used it. He used his slower balls and slower bouncers in Perth as well. Again, bigger boundary, where against Afghanistan, where he got a fifer. But I think as we always talk about this. The planning was perfect, but you got to execute them in a bigger stage, in a bigger game. I think it shows the mental skills of a player as well. So I think you got to give 100 marks to Sam Curran there.
Quick word on Ben Stokes before we finish. Not just Stokes himself, but the way Butler has used him. There was a match where he bowled just that one over against New Zealand, picked up the wicket of Kane Williamson. That's all he did. Occasionally coming on, bowling the first over, the 11th over, possibly only a 2-over spell. Today, obviously, Butler saw something that he needed a full spell from Stokes.
Yeah,
and that wicket of Iftikhar.
And Butler has the luxury. Look at that playing 11.
No Moeen Ali.
Look at the bowling options. Yes, Moeen Ali has not been used. Livingston has bowled only 1 overs because the conditions were allowing for him to use other resources, which was Ben Stokes. You know, Ben Stokes is someone who can hit the deck hard if needed. So far in the tournament, he's been bowling with that new ball and then maybe 1 over in the middle. So they have their roles identified. You know, the options which are available and which options to use more under which conditions is the luxury which Butler has. And today he was spot on. You know, he was making sure that he maximizes that impact. You've seen Vokes bowling 3 overs in the first 6. So that was another example of knowing that Vokes will play a part in this particular pitch. Pitch is assisting, so let me just go with that, finish the power play strong, and then bring the spinners. So that's the strength of this England team. You know, when you have that many options, it's more fun to be captain as well, because you know that tactical side can really come into foray, and you can really showcase that. Butler has shown when it mattered right now in the semi-finals and finals to be able to stick to the plans, to be able to understand the conditions, and then use his resources.
Well, there's a flight at 12:40 a.m. to London. I wonder if England will want to be on that flight and try and get the match finished very, very quickly. Remember, last 3 matches, they've not lost a wicket in the power play. We didn't get our predictions right, so can we revise that? I'm going to throw out a number for a change, 55 for England.
55 for England. I'm going 47.
I'm going 44.
44, 47, 55. Will it be another match where they keep the wickets intact and Butler and Hale see them through? For Pakistan, they'll be desperate for 2, maybe 3 wickets in the power play to change things around. Only 137 on the board in the World Cup final. Will it be yet another game, 11 in a row in knockouts in this tournament, where the side chasing has gone on to win since 2014? All will be revealed at the end of the innings, and of course will be assessed on Cricbuzz Combox at the halfway point.